would be great also. We have done those surveys, but I would love to have you do it also to make sure that you get the same information.
Right.
We'll be glad to give you names of companies that we've talked to.
That'd be great. That'd be great, because I've even had the experience, you know, where you get all these painting quotes and then you tell them you're in Riverwoods and they say, oh, well, then it'll be more for you.
Well, the nice thing locally is that there are companies now who are in this business with Long Road having the ordinance, with other municipalities nearby having this ordinance already. This is not a new thing anymore. So the cost has come down.
Bill, do you know offhand how many buildable lots there are in Riverwoods vacant?
Yes, I can tell you two things. There are probably 6, maybe 10 vacant lots to the village. There is another possible couple subdivisions in Duffy and Judy property. Couple of other large lots can be subdivided, but what we're talking about are tear downs.
Right,
Because there's hundreds of those,
right, well, understandable.
literally hundreds.
But
that,
buildable
you know,
vacant
the
lots at this
50s
point-
ranches and all these houses eventually are gonna be torn down and a new house is gonna go up, and that's a fact of life. There's not much you can do about it. Not in this economy, but that's gonna happen. The cost, you know, we got a brochure from, you know, the North Shore Real Estate Board who's objecting to this, and they're saying that the costs run, just had it in there, from $1.84 a square foot to as much as $6.15 a square foot.
They also had quotes there for different houses, how much it would cost.
They also don't care about elderly people. Only
Pardon me?
children. They don't care about elderly people in their study, only children. That's just a.
But I just, you know, I want to, for the record, I'm a member of this organization. For the record.
All right, so we'll bring you with some revisions and some more information at the next time.
They don't call for a vote on the first reading, is it?
Have a motion to,
It's been moved.
Yeah,
Been
it's been
moved.
moved, seconding.
first reading, for approval of first reading. Yeah, we have one need a voice vote, please. All in favor of first reading?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll continue this at the next meeting.
Thank you.
The Position just went up.
Is this your turn?
Consideration of professional services proposals for Williams Architects for the police station.
Did everyone get this copy from Williams Architects?
We're sorry for the late,
Which,
This is a four-page proposal.
it's been on your desk today.
I'm not looking for any action tonight. Let me explain how this came about. Do you have your copy?
Yeah, sure, I do.
I'm sure I
It
know.
was put, it was there,
It's
Cheryl.
probably right here. Is this it? Oh, here, I got
It was
it.
put on after 5 o'clock.
It was put on after
Exactly,
5
it came
o'clock.
out late, so I
All right,
can't really
all right,
remember.
now, so here's the genesis of this. We sat around at the last staff meeting and we talked about the budget. And the question is, you know, assuming the board wants to go further with exploring the police station, what would be the next step? My suggestion for the next step is you have to engage the architect to take the design further. We can't get really more accurate cost data than what we have because we don't even have a design. So I asked the architect to put together a proposal for services that adhered to what we had done with the fire station when Elmer Cecil was around and we had gone through this whole process with the same architect. I said, you know, pull that agreement out. What I had forgotten was that some of the cost of that station were really not borne by Riverwoods. We were instrumental in getting the design moved along, but the cost of the fire station were borne by the district because they bought the site from us. So I don't recall whether, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't recall whether we had actually fully negotiated the architectural agreement. But anyway, Mark Bushhouse said that he would be kind enough to come up with sort of a proposal letter for us to sort of get the ball rolling. That's what this is. I have some objections to it already that I've communicated to him. The basic idea of what the architect does is, if those of you who've done, agreements with architects know, they divide up their services into 4 or 5 phases. The first phase is schematic design. He goes through design development, then to construction drawings. Each of those gets to a more and more precise set of documents. And the idea is to try and figure out what his fee would be for all of the phases. It's common for architects to express that as a percentage of the cost of construction. And my objection in this case is that some of our costs are discretionary, whether we go forward with some of the lead components or not, how much of the lead components. And we also wanted to, we were talking internally about wanting to really be able to fix our costs in the early phases of design so we could terminate, know what our costs were if we decided that the costs were getting out of hand, if we were going too far forward. So Mark is revising this agreement to indicate a lump sum fee for basic services to break out of the lead component. One of the things, if you haven't been through the lead process, I'll just explain briefly. Right now, under I think it's the 2009 standard, and they revise this all the time for commercial buildings, there's 100 points that you can win, or you can get awarded to you, or you qualify for. And there's a credit template, they call it, and they have about 7 categories of design components. And in each of those design components, there will be a number of issues, and if you have this kind of system, and if you do this kind of thing, you get a point here, and 2 points here, 3 points here. When you get up to 40 points, you get basic certification right now, according to the current schedule. When you get up to 50 points, you get silver certification. In the projects that I've had for other development clients do, when you start with a project, you know going in that you have 30 or 35 points. There's a certain number of points that you can look right from the beginning and say, these are the easy points. If we do things we were going to do anyway, these are the things we could do. And then the give and take in the design process is, how are we going to get the next 10 points? Which of the there's no more low-hanging fruit. What's the next thing we can do to try and get up there? And so I asked Mark if it would be possible for him to just run through the checklist and give us an idea of where we are with sort of our current thinking on the design, so we have a better sense of what we would be paying some of this lead money to accomplish. What are the kinds of items that make sense in our case? Some of the stuff we would do in our community, we would do more readily than other things. That's basically it. I think we'll have, if you have any comments and once you have a chance to take a look at this, please, let us know. And I think we'll try and, have a more revised, more, polished proposal to actually vote on or consider at the next meeting.
Michael.
I'm just wondering if we've given any consideration to utilizing a design-build firm as opposed to utilizing an architect with a separate
Well,
contract.
he is the design build firm.
No, I know what
Because given the current state of the construction industry right now and the highly competitive nature of it, you may be able to utilize a design-build firm and have multiple design-build firms compete on a design, which the village would then benefit from probably at very limited cost. By going out to a number of design-build firms and saying, we're putting out this proposal for a new fire station of 4,500 square feet. These are our
Police station.
our police station, I'm sorry. These are our requirements, and, submit your designs, and by this date, and we're gonna choose one of you guys based upon multiple criteria, and then try and actually
That's a
get
very
that done
busy
for a
question.
very small cost or no cost at all.
You're talking about the RFP.
In effect, just doing an RFP.
I think it's a good idea to take up with Russ. I think
Because there may be like Walsh Construction or Leopardo or a bunch of, Pepper, different companies that have done multiple police stations, I would assume, that might have some expertise in it.
I think it's a good idea.
Yes, sir.
We built something in Shelburne.
We built a lot of these. in
Couple
town.
things.